Weathertop is a very well-known piece of the Lord of the Rings franchise in both the movies and the books, but not many people fully grasp its significance to the progression of the story in general and the development of the characters who were there. Today I will cover the history of Weathertop and why the events that transpired on the abandoned watchtower are so significant. After Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin meet Aragorn and Bree and escape from the Nazgul for the first time, he takes them into the wild, hoping to get them to the elf city of Rivendell, the place where Aragorn was raised for a portion of his childhood, hence why he understands Elvish and knows basic Elvish remedies. On their way to Rivendell, Aragorn had the group stop to camp out on Weathertop, an old abandoned watchtower built in the early Second Age by the Dunedain of Arnor. It served as a major fortress and observatory, housing a Palantir. During the war with Angmar, the tower was burned and destroyed in 1409, leaving it as a desolate, ruined hilltop. In 3018, the Nazgul attacked Frodo, Sam, Merry, Pippin, and Aragorn here. Frodo was stabbed by the Witch King with a Morgul knife. Now let's break this encounter down. When the group first arrives on Weathertop, Aragorn gives them all swords to defend themselves should the need arise, since he must scout out and make sure they are not in immediate danger, and to figure out a safe route for the hobbits to travel to Rivendell. When Aragorn leaves, Frodo heads to sleep to attempt to regain his strength, but he is awoken in the night by the sound of muffled voices. When Frodo turns around, it is revealed that Sam, Merry, and Pippin are cooking with an open fire.
What are you doing? Tomatoes, sausages, nice crispy bacon. We'll save some.
Frodo immediately runs over and stomps on the flames in a desperate attempt to put them out, but it is too late, and the group realize that the Nazgul have found them. They quickly draw their weapons and race to the top of the abandoned watchtower in an attempt to both get away from the Nazgul and perhaps find a place where they may escape or be safe. Unfortunately, they find neither, only the barren top of the hill. With nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, the group form a circle. It is Frodo who first sees the Nazgul ascending the hilltop to meet them, and with little more than toothpicks to defend themselves, the Nazgul feel no threat from them. As the Nazgul approach, each character has a moment that helps define their character and where they are heading. Firstly, Sam. As the Nazgul approach, he is the first one to leap into action, charging in and attempting to fight the Nazgul head-on. Of course, this is all for naught, as he is casually tossed aside as no more than a nuisance. However, this action shapes Sam's character and shows that even now, he is much braver than he realizes. Next, Merry and Pippin. They do not charge into the Nazgul as Sam does, but rather physically block the Nazgul from getting any closer to Frodo in the ring, attempting to use themselves as shields. This aligns with what both of their characters do down the road, as Merry charges with Rohan into the battle to shield the city of Minas Tirith from the Orc invasion, and Pippin becomes a guard of the citadel, protecting the city of Minas Tirith from the inside. Finally, Frodo. After all his friends have been cast aside, and it is only him left against the Nazgul, his natural instincts of fear take over. He drops his weapon and attempts to flee, only there is nowhere to go. And after tripping, he attempts to crawl backwards away from the Nazgul, but to no avail. Eventually, Frodo realizes the only thing he hasn't tried is putting on the ring, the magical object that makes him completely invisible. Of course, there's one small problem with this, and that is the fact that the only beings that can still see him are the Nazgul, making this plan basically pointless. At this point, the Witch King attempts to take the ring from Frodo, and the ring, having intentions of its own, attempts to leave Frodo, but his incredible resilience allows him to withhold the ring from the Nazgul, proving to himself and the audience that he can in fact resist its influence. This, however, angers the Witch King, who resorts to stabbing Frodo in the arm with a Morgul blade and attempting to take the ring again. This single stab wound is one of the most prominent turning points of Frodo's character and sets up many things throughout the films, but the most important is the reason behind why Frodo left Middle-earth at the end of the last film. This single stab wound, while mended by Elrond in Rivendell, would never fully heal and would always stick with Frodo, a painful reminder of not only that day, but the entire journey that he had been on and the physical and mental toll it had on him. Having seen and experienced absolute evil, Frodo could no longer live a simple life. As a ring bearer, Frodo was granted a special exemption to travel to the Undying Lands, a place of healing meant for elves and immortal beings, in order to find peace. Frodo, after being stabbed, almost loses the ring to the Nazgul, and would have if Aragorn had not arrived just in time to fight them off. Using a combination of good swordplay and fire from a torch, he defeated the Nazgul one by one. Eventually, all the Nazgul were either defeated or had retreated. And so Aragorn, along with Sam, Merry, and Pippin, traveled through the wild in a desperate attempt to get Frodo to Rivendell in time. This section of the movies is the first pivotal moment that completely alters the characters and their motivations, forging new pathways that they all eventually follow. Each character is changed throughout the story, and none of them are the same as when they left, but this moment, atop an abandoned fortress hill, is one of the most critical turning points of their characters, as they realize what they now face and what they must do to survive. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what other games you would like me to play, and what kind of content you would like to see, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!